big, beautiful bill has passed in the House. We say appears because until that is official, we cannot say that it has, but it certainly looks like it indeed has, Trey.
What do you mean you can't say? Why are you reporting on it if you say it isn't official yet? What the heck? Come on, Trey.
You had to put a deadline on it, Sandra. How many times have you been on running out of money?
Look at this guy's head. It's like someone just pushed it together and just kind of squished it. Okay, let's go.
Watch. We have these little countdown clocks, government shutdown. Okay. The most predictable thing in the world is the calendar, but every year they need a deadline, either Christmas or a holiday, so he had to impose a deadline. It just happened to coincide with our 249th birthday.
Trey, let's listen.
The nays are 218, the nays are 214. The motion is adopted.
Look at all these guys. USA, yeah! Where's all the unhappy people?
Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
Look at all these people. Republicans. Just in.
Right, Trey, there you have it. Your reaction.
Yeah,
Speaker
Trey.
Johnson making it official.
Come on, Trey. What you got?
I don't know how many miracles it takes to qualify for sainthood or canonization, but Mike Johnson has threaded the needle so many times with a really narrow majority.
So for people who don't know what the big beautiful bill is and what exactly is going on in it, there's this guy I've got here. His name is Dr. Steve Turley. I don't really watch him a lot, but I watched some of this video and I thought he was breaking it down pretty well, so we're going to check him out. He has reported on this about 10 minutes before this.
Steve, and once again, we got some breaking news here. News we anticipated
He's
all
a doctor.
day. They finally got it done. The big, beautiful bill has indeed just officially passed after enduring an 8-hour-long snooze fest from the ultra-repulsive Hakeem Jeffries.
It really was insufferable last night. I was watching some of it, and just the way that they were dragging everything on, I just thought, come on, man.
The bill was finally put to a final vote. Again, I highlighted this in our earlier video. Vice President J.D. Vance said he received a text from an unnamed Republican congressman basically saying, look, I was undecided on this bill, but then I just watched Hakeem Jeffries' performative antics, and now I'm a firm yes. Talk about a backfire. Again, these Democrat antics are just so counterproductive. Nobody, especially Democrat voters, nobody's buying them anymore. Trump is all about action. Democrats are all about antics. And as of today, they have once again learned the utter futility of being voted out of power. Now, big picture here.
The guy he's talking about is this dude who, listen to this.
Speaker, that's not, it's the case, that's not.
No, I want it full volume.
That's not.
There we go.
What this country
Hakeem,
should be all about.
listen to what this guy says.
Manu wasn't the only one.
This was
The
last
only American
night.
citizen who's been targeted by the deportation machine, a deportation machine that will be unleashed on steroids by this one big ugly bill.
This guy he's for the other side, a deportation machine that's going to be unleashed by this one big ugly bill. And then everyone's like, yeah, that sounds great.
This passing of the big
The dude talked for like hours, man.
bill is just the latest jewel on the crown of President Trump. Hugh Hewitt said it best yesterday on Fox. Trump has had, without question, without comparison, he has had the best month of any president of the last century, perhaps in the whole of modern political history. The peace deals in Iran and Israel and the Middle East, the peace deal with the Congo and Rwanda and Africa that were signed at the White House.
I don't know about the Congo and Africa. I know we blew the hell out of Iran.
The Supreme Court decision's going his way, finally putting an end to national injunctions by rogue justices. The economy is booming. The Dow and the NASDAQ are now at record highs. Prices are falling, especially eggs, right? The Waffle House got rid of their egg surcharge.
Yeah, I've been to the grocery store recently, and I've noticed eggs are back down to like a couple bucks. So that's good. Everyone loves eggs.
Week, NATO leaders are calling Trump daddy. He just announced trade deals with China and Vietnam.
Daddy.
And then on top of all of that, he gets this bill, this astonishing bill that is basically everything that Trump wanted to enshrine in terms of MAGA being a permanent part of the federal and national political infrastructure. It was a narrow path through the House. It was an even narrower path in the Senate, but it passed both with revision, and then Speaker Johnson made it happen a day early. President Trump wanted the big, beautiful bill on his desk by July the 4th, and it was passed a day early.
Man.
I'm sure President Trump will break out.
Thank God we're out of June, by the way. Thank God.
All the pageantry and regalia for the signing ceremony tomorrow on July the 4th. Now, for me, what's so extraordinary about what happened today with this bill, soon to be law, is that it expands ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, by a factor of 20. Let that hit you. It goes from $2 billion allocated to now $45 billion
Jeez
allocated.
Louise.
That's 20 times more agents, 20 times more arrests.
Damn, that's a lot. Man, we're going to get past the criminals to the point to where the Democrats truly fear, and all the progressives that I hear on social media. What about the Mexican grandmas? What about the women and children and the Mexican grandmas making all the sopapillas? Man, we're going to get to that point because damn, basically unleashing a wave of, it's going to be wild, man.
We need 400 new alligator Alcatrazes after today. So in all due respect to Elon, I know many are concerned about the spending in this bill. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, we should talk about it. I don't think he's going to do it in this video, but that is a concern. We'll see how that goes. I don't know, man. I mean, as far as I'm concerned and where I'm at, I trust Trump. I mean, I know he's not perfect. The bill's not perfect. It never is. I'm not some libertarian where I have to have every single thing my way and everything has to go perfectly. It's kind of a give and take. It's back and forth. I know the other side doesn't really play that fair. Not that I'm a Republican, mind you, but definitely conservative. And, everything I've seen Trump go through over the past decade, I don't know, man. He says this bill is like a big deal and it's important. And from the things I've looked into it, yeah, it's not perfect and it's got some issues. But, I trust the guy. Like, I voted for him. And it's like, let's just go, man. Let's just see what he can do. I mean, he's only halfway into his first year. Let's give him a chance,
in a moment. But I'm sorry, Elon, you voted for Biden in 2020.
Oh,
Elon admitted voting for Biden. And so that means this border crisis that we saw over the last 4 years, the worst border crisis in our nation's history, dude, that's on you. That's on you. You were complicit in that. So you don't get to control the table here. Yes, we'll deal with the spending, but you cannot insist on us dealing with the spending after you actually helped enable the worst border crisis in our nation's history.
Did you guys know that for most of the people watching YouTube videos, only a small percentage of those people are actually subscribed to those channels? But subscribing is really quick and easy. All you have to do is first to make a YouTube account, which is free, and then after that, go down to the video that you're watching, hit the like button, which goes a long way in helping out the algorithm, and then go over and hit the subscribe button. After you've hit the subscribe button, click the drop down arrow and click the option that says all, so that can notify you whenever a new video from this creator has dropped. Subscribing is free, and making a YouTube account is also free. It allows you to keep up with all of your favorite content creators, and of course it goes a long way in helping out my channel, and I really do appreciate it. So with all of that being said, back to the video.
President Trump is effectively reversing, and that is exactly what this big, beautiful bill enables Trump to do even more, 20x. On top of that, of course, you've got the single biggest tax cut in history, tax relief for working families, including no tax on tips or overtime, tax relief for seniors, over $1 trillion.
No tax on overtime is a big deal for me. The tips is too, but I'm not sure how that's going to work exactly with my job because I do live off of a lot of tips. But we'll see how that goes. But the overtime is a big one too, for sure. That's huge.
And spending cuts over the next 10 years. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, he was on with Steve Bannon the other day, and he explained how this big, beautiful bill fits in with Trump's overall economic policy. So this is a growth agenda. This is all about an American golden age economy. So President Trump's economic agenda is a three-legged stool: trade, tax, and deregulation. Trade, tax, and deregulation. While this bill certainly has something for everybody, that's for sure. That's the way Congress works, whether we like it or not. But most importantly, this bill enshrines as permanent, you have got to get that, permanent President Trump's tax cuts from 2017. So back then, his political clout really only allowed for an 8-year cut. The tax cuts, the biggest tax cuts in American history, had an expiration date. So they were supposed to explode the economy, which they did in Trump's first tenure. But because of wishy-washy rhino Republicans, there had to be a termination date, an expiration date, just in case the cuts didn't work. And they agreed to 8 years. Those tax cuts are now a permanent fixture in Washington, D.C. for the foreseeable future. This is MAGA.
I'm curious to know how soon, once it's passed into law, which is going to be tomorrow, on the 4th, a holiday, I'm curious to how soon we're going to be seeing this, like, in a tangible way. From everything I've heard, for the average everyday schmo, like you and me, who works the 9 to 5 and, has to deal with our boss and all that kind of stuff, and actually gets a paycheck, how soon are we actually going to see this on our checks to where, no taxing on the overtime and the tax breaks and the cuts and, like the prices in the grocery store? Like, is it going to be a matter of weeks? Is it going to be a month? All this stuff just kind of takes a while, but once it's passed, I mean, it should be fairly recognizable, I would think, within, not too long.
Tax policy now being encoded into national law permanently. And then on top of that, they explained the tax cuts on, tips, no tax on overtime pay, Social Security. Business owners, they have 100% expensing of capital goods, 100% expensing of factories and agricultural structures. So we're going to have a boom in this country that could be growth like we haven't seen since World War II, when we became the manufacturing giant of the planet. We're making the U.S. the best destination for capital. We're going to have tax certainty now. These tax cuts and write-offs are all now baseline. They are permanent. The Democrats can't play politics with the taxes anymore. And this is going to drive a lot of growth. So we've got tax certainty, we've got energy independence, we've got deregulation that will all together unleash the economy like never before. Now, of course, the passing of this bill, the whole process that we have been privy to over the last several weeks, from the House to the Senate, back to the House, it certainly wasn't pretty, for sure. Sausage making never is. But we do have to remember, as former Speaker Newt Gingrich always reminds us of, we do have to remember this is precisely the way the system is designed to work. Historians will tell you the American political system was designed for very slow, very deliberate change. It was designed precisely to prevent revolutionary.
This is the point when he makes, it's very interesting to me, and when you think about it, I am kind of glad it goes this way, because it's a bit frustrating to where you might say, hey, how come they can't get anything done? How come there's always this delay? How come they're just constantly fighting like children over and over and over up there in Washington? But at the same time, when you kind of flip it, it's like, I'm kind of glad they can't get anything done. Most of these people don't seem to care about us. Most of these people seem to just be out for it in themselves. And so I don't really want, most of the time, government to do stuff and get stuff done. I want them to leave us alone. So the fact that they do have to go through all these hoops, that it's so difficult, that it's long and trudged out, and it's so difficult to have this streamlined, it's like, okay, well, if you actually have a guy in there who's pretty good, who I believe in, like Trump, yeah, it's frustrating. But think about all of the losers and all of the horrible people who have been in there. it makes it really difficult then for get one over on us and cheat us. It makes it much more difficult for that to happen. It makes tyranny, actual tyranny, actually, a lot more difficult. And so I am kind of glad about that. And it does make sense that they have to go through this because, I don't know.
Change. At the very least, at the level of the Senate filibuster, you can see that, right? So if you want rapid change, you put in a new president who can enact immediate executive powers through EOs. But if you want the executive power codified into law, making it permanent, you've got to go through a diluting process of Congress and even a more diluting process of the Senate. And the system is actually working out exactly the way it's supposed to. Now, for sure, there's going to be follow-up reconciliation bills that will adjust and refurbish, as it were, the big, beautiful bill in a way that's more acceptable to members of Congress, particularly those who want to rein in spending. But again, that's how the sausage is made. And what's key here is that this bill was the centerpiece to officially reset the federal government as a whole, not just the executive branch, but the legislative branch as well, to reset the government as a whole around MAGA. And with the Supreme Court now consistently ruling in Trump's favor, it does indeed look as if, as of today, we are truly living in a MAGA moment here.
Yeah, and there's two sides of the coin to that. For people like me who voted for Trump, who have seen all of the crap that he's had to go through over the past many years, I don't get it all. I'm not a politician. I'm not a wise guy. I'm not a wise man. I'm just a simple, average, everyday person just trying to keep up with it. But from everything I've seen from Trump, heard from Trump, and then definitely seen from the other side, the idea of MAGA and this country and what Trump is passing, it's like, let's go. This sounds great. Let's deport. And, the other side is just like, no, all the Mexican grandmas. Where our side is more like, no, listen, the drug dealers, the sex traffickers, those are kind of the ones we're after. So let's get rid of that. Let's cut spending. Let's lower the prices of everything. There's some concern here with long-term spending, from what I understand. We're that's Elon's big shtick. It's like this is a bloated bill that's going to increase spending. I feel like there's some evening out going on. Doge has already saved us a lot of money when it comes to spending, and hopefully a lot of that can be ironed out. But man, at the end of the day, I trust Trump. I'm not the president, and I don't know what's going on. But from everything I've seen and heard, I believe in the guy, and even if he makes a few mistakes here and there, I'm not one of these fair weather fans where I'm just going to go, it's like when he bombed the hell out of Iran, everyone was freaking out, World War III, and it's the same thing a couple years back, and I believe it was his first term, whenever he bombed that Salmonelli guy, or whatever his stupid name was, and everyone was like, World War III, and then you had this Iraqi camel liquor or whatever, whoever the guy was, and he's like, there will be a retaliation. How? We've destroyed all your bombs, and I'm sorry, but from this area, from these terrorists who their entire slogan is death to America, my sympathies aren't going to really go out, I'm sorry, and I know things are complicated. Israel made some mistakes in there. Everything's messy. Getting this bill passed, everything's messy. But it seems like with all the chaos and with all the messiness, Trump just continues to take one step in front of the other. And every time he does, it seems to work out fairly well for the rest of us, no matter how much the other side, and when I say the other side, I mean this small majority of progressives who absolutely lose their mind over every freaking thing in the world. There's extremist progressives, and then there's a lot of people in the middle who are just fairly based. Some lean to the left, some lean to the right, some just kind of stay out of it, and then you have some hardcore conservatives, and there's like no one on the extreme right. There's like 5 people or something. Despite of what all the progressives are screaming, white supremacy, extreme, far right, all that kind of stuff, is like, where? What are we talking about? Hitler! It's like, what's going on here? Anyways, I'm definitely in the middle, but then lean to the right. I'm more to the right on that equation, conservative. I lean a few areas liberal, I guess you could say, but more certainly more conservative for sure. That's where I'm at. wherever you're at, that's cool. I mean, if you're here and you're watching this, man, and you're a liberal, you're welcome here. And I'd love to know your thoughts. I'd love to know everyone's thoughts. It looks like the bill is passed. It's going to get through from everything that everyone's been reporting. And we'll see how it goes. And I'm with Trump so far. I mean, he hasn't done anything to where I'm just like, wow, this was a catastrophic mistake and I'm against this guy. I'm with him. I'm still with him, and I want to see how this goes. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and please don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button. Really helps out the channel a lot. And till next time, guys.